On the 4th of November at 11:30 a.m., New Zealanders will gather outside the beehive. They'll stand together because a quiet law change, something most people haven't even heard of, could shape the food on every table in this country. The Gene Technology Bill 2024 is moving through Parliament right now. It sounds technical, but it reaches into the lives of farmers, parents, and future generations. It decides who controls the genes in our food, our soil, and even the animals we raise. Before we go further, let's explain what this is actually about. GMO stands for genetically modified organism. That means any plant, animal, or microbe that's had its DNA changed using modern science by adding, removing, or editing genes in a lab. Scientists can do this to make crops resist pests, grow faster, or survive harsh weather. But once those genes are changed, they can spread through pollen, seeds, and breeding, sometimes in ways we can't predict. Supporters say it's progress. Critics say it's rewriting nature. For nearly 30 years, the Hazardous Substances and New Organisms Act, or HSNO, has kept New Zealand one of the most careful countries in the world when it comes to gene modification. Every new organism has needed public consultation and local approval before it could be released. Those rules built our clean green reputation and protected organics and exports that bring billions into our economy. The new bill replaces that system with something very different. It would hand decisions to a new gene technology regulator inside the Environmental Protection Authority, creating a new tiered risk approach. If a project is labeled low risk, it could be approved much faster, sometimes without public input at all. Local councils would no longer be allowed to keep their regions GE-free. In practice, the voices closest to the land would be silent, while decisions are made in Wellington. Supporters say the change will modernize outdated rules and help researchers use tools like CRISPR to fight disease and improve crops. And yes, science has moved fast. The old law does need review. But even independent experts and automated policy analysis systems flag this bill as a red light. They point to vague definitions of low risk, unclear liability if contamination occurs, and weaker transparency. It modernizes, but it also removes the brakes. Here are the key risks critics are warning about. Loss of local control. Councils would no longer be able to set GE-free zones. All power shifts to Wellington. It was weakened safety standards. Low-risk organisms could skip full environmental review or public consultation. Threat to organic farms. Cross-pollination could contaminate crops and erase New Zealand's clean green market edge. Ease farmer dependence on patented seed. Big biotech firms could control seed supply, limiting independence as seen in the US and UK. And soil and ecosystem uncertainty. Herbicide-tolerant crops overseas have led to more chemical use and less biodiversity. And trade and export risks. Key markets like the EU and Japan pay premiums for non-GMO products. That premium could vanish. Reduced accountability, liability for contamination or accidents is unclear. Limited Maori and community voice. Treaty and Kaitiakitanga safeguards are only advisory, not binding. Across the Tasman, Australia has already loosened its rules. CSIRO and the biotech company Oxitec, supported by funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, have released genetically modified mosquitoes to combat dengue fever. Supporters call it innovation. Critics warn that once modified species are in the wild, they can't be recalled. If New Zealand passes this bill, similar projects could be fast-tracked here. These changes touch everyone. They affect what our children eat, what our farmers can plant, and how much trust we have in the food that reaches our plates. They shape whether small growers can survive or whether corporate patents dominate our land. And they determine how much say ordinary people still have in the direction of our country. Here are the main groups opposing the bill. GE Free NZ reports overwhelming opposition in public submissions. Our Soil and Health Association, Organic NZ, calls for the bill to be withdrawn. Greenpeace, Aotearoa, warns of environmental and market risks. Organics, Aotearoa NZ, opposes due to threats to the organic sector. Political parties, the Green Party, Labour Party, and New Zealand First have each raised major concerns and demanded stronger safeguards. You might wonder why this story isn't front-page news. Mainstream outlets have reported it only briefly, even though it affects every household. Complex bills rarely draw headlines, and advertising and donor interests don't help, but that makes public attention even more important. The Gene Technology Bill isn't just about science. It's about sovereignty and freedom of choice. Do we want our food future decided by a handful of regulators and corporations, or through open debate with clear protections? On the 4th of November, people will gather peacefully at Parliament to ask that question in person. Whether you attend or not, read the bill at parliament.nz. Ask your local MP where they stand. Because what happens now will reach far beyond this generation. Our soil, our farmers, and our children's food future deserve careful, informed debate before the rules of life itself are rewritten.